For this dish today, I'm going to take an old classic that we had growing up. I would say as a treat, not so much as dinner, but more of a treat. Crispy pancakes. You know the ones, the pancakes with the bright orange breadcrumbs. Today I'm going to take that dish and give it a decent modernised take on it. In my bowl, I've got 100 grams of plain flour, to which I'm going to add a quarter of a teaspoon of salt. This is really easy. I'm going to take one egg, remembering a rule of cracking it into a bowl first, in case we get a rogue egg, into our flour, with a whisk, adding 250 ml of milk. And give that a good mix. Nice and smooth. The occasional little lump, it's not a massive deal, don't worry too much. 25 grams of melted butter. That's just going to give our crepes a wee bit of elasticity. And there we have it. You might think, oh, it's a bit too runny, too watery, but we'll rest that for about 10 minutes for the flour to absorb that milk. And you'll notice just a slight thickening to it. Now I'll talk quickly about my filling. You can fill the pancakes with whatever you like. Everyone's had the minced beef version, or the chicken curry version, or the cheese and ham versions. Today I'm going to use some chicken curry that I've had left over. You could use bolognese, you could use, I was even thinking today, you could even fill maybe with some haggis and black pudding. If you were to do a cheese filling, you could use, I don't know if you've heard of this, the primula spreads in the tube. If you incorporate some of that with a bit of Philadelphia, even some grated cheese, you'd have a very stable, delicious filling. So, on to frying your crepes. Now for our crepes, our batter's been resting there for about 10 minutes. You can see it's slightly thickened. With one final whisk. Now at this stage you could pour the batter into a jug and make the crepes. It's up to you. Whatever you find easier to make to do. Our pan is very, very hot, but what I find is the first crepe that we usually put into the pan is a write-off until we sort of try and modify the heat to the degree that we want. So a bit of melted butter into our pan. Now the pan I've got here is a non-stick 20 centimeter pan. There are crepe pans you can use. Now usually we want a crepe to be as thin as a lace doily, but for this we want a bit more substance to it. So we just want it as thin as we can, so it's going to hold our filling. How do you look? Yeah, perfect. See how fast that was? We just want that lovely colour on this side. About 8 seconds on the other side, and then we'll just onto a plate. Quite surprising that. First one turned out really nice. So we'll just do one more. What I really want is maybe 2 per portion. So we'll swirl the pan round. And so the crepe batter itself is evenly coating the bottom of the pan. So 2 per portion will be plenty. You can see how much batter we've got left, so it really does yield quite a substantial amount. Beautiful. And onto our plate. There we have it. So I'll just knock up a few more and then we'll start filling them. Now, to fill my crepes, we're going to take, I want the darker side on the outside because that's going to be the presentation side when people bite into it. So a little bit of beaten egg, just on the outer edge. It's going to help seal the pancake. We'll take our chicken curry filling. Again, I know I said previous, you can use whatever you got left over. If you made bolognese, use some bolognese. Any minced beef, you can use some minced beef. I know I talked about the primula. I've got no qualms in using that word. It's handy. So just knocking the air out of the pancakes. Now out of this batch, you'll probably yield about 12 plus pancakes. So you've got quite a lot of yield for that little amount of batter. So if you do have a quantity of leftovers, you can make them and even freeze them. I don't want to overfill them. Again, so we're just in half, pressing down gently and removing all the air. So they're now ready to go into the freezer for the next stage. So our pancakes now have been in the freezer for a good hour. You can see, nice and easy to handle. We're now just going to flour, egg and crumb our pancakes. So starting off with just plain flour, pancakes into the bowl, quick excess shake off. Then from our flour, we'll go into the egg, a couple of beaten eggs, and into the breadcrumbs. The breadcrumbs I've got today, panko breadcrumbs. They're going to give a nice, good crunch finish to the pancake itself. You could use normal breadcrumbs if you wanted, or to reminisce, you could even go and use the, orange breadcrumbs that I'm probably familiar with. Into our egg, a good shake. Shake the excess off, and into our crumb. Make sure they're well coated. Excess off. Have our pancakes good to go at this stage. If you wanted to keep them back into the freezer, then box them off for a later date to be used as a snack, but we're going to fry these right now. Okay, now our pancakes are good to fry. Today I'm going to use the frying pan. We're going to shallow fry them. You could use the deep fat fryer if you want, or I'm sure for those a bit more health conscious, we could brush them with a wee bit of oil and toast them under the grill. To be honest, with the oil we've got, it is nice and hot, so it will seal very quickly rather than absorbing the oil. If in any doubt, you can use your little probe. If you don't have a probe, drop in maybe a cube of bread and it'll start frying right away. The danger with this kind of cooking is you can get maybe easily distracted, perhaps if someone knocks on the door or the phone goes. If that happens, always remember to turn the heat off. For our pancakes, we'll take them face down into our oil. Again, we're going to do 2 at a time, bearing in mind that the temperature will drop in the pan, so we just want to keep that regulated. So that's going to take about 2 or 3 minutes on either side. Again, when you're turning things over in the pan, always away from you, so any splashes will go away from you. Turn that down. So there we have the pancakes fried for 2 or 3 minutes either side. I'll just pop them onto some kitchen roll just to drain off the excess oil and continue frying the rest of our pancakes. So here are our finished pancakes, a far cry from the old packet variety. So simple, so easy to make. Again, any fillings that are left over can be used in these pancakes. They can be frozen for a later date, enjoyed as a light lunch, snack, or even supper. Let's have a look here. Now I've done 2 flavours today, just simple. We've got chicken curry filling. You can just see the chicken in it. And this is just some grated cheese that I've used today. A far cry from the molten lava fillings from previous said pancakes. There we have it, Alan's Crispy Pancakes. Enjoy.